Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Me, Session, and of course, we preview our game against Aston Villa at Villa Park. In my opinion, our biggest game of the season yet. Simply because if we lose, we will find ourselves quite far behind in the race for a top 4 position at the end of the season. But subscribe to the channel, drop a like, share to your friends and family. Let's get into this particular preview. We'll speak about Kobbie Mainoo and his potential new deal. So Fabrizio Romano has reported that Kobbie Mainoo will be offered a new deal. There's no rush with regards to that because his current deal is quite still long. He's got a few years left on his contract, but the club is looking to give him a pay rise and they see him as a crucial part of this project and the future of Manchester United, which is self-explanatory. I mean, we've seen his qualities and we've seen exactly what he brings to the team. He's now one of the first names on the team sheet, so definitely much deserved a contract offer that will be given to him in due course. But Aston Villa is our biggest game of the season. We won at Old Trafford 3-2, and that game we could have easily lost. But we showed great team spirit, great determination to come back from behind. And of course, Hoyland getting his first Premier League goal. We saw the frustration, we saw the celebration that brought himself to tears. And he kicked on from there. 4 goals in 4 games since then, 10 all in all competitions this season for Manchester United. And with the likes of Garnacho also hitting good form on the right hand side, and Rashford, after a discipline that had to happen, has also shown some good form since coming back into the team. Regardless of how Ten Hag wants to play this, the only change that should be made is a replacement for Martinez. Now, of course, you could play Varane and Evans, but you cannot leave Maguire out of the question as well. He came on against West Ham and had a very good cameo. And yes, there were 2 moments, that were questionable of his defending abilities. But I think with us playing away from home, we won't be as expansive in terms of trying to press them high. Because we know that we can get them and counter them because of the space they were leaving behind. Unai Emery loves to play a high line, loves to press man for man, and with the players we will have available, Casemiro, Mainoo, Varane, Delou, Shaw, Bruno, these are players that can play through the lines. And against West Ham, up until Martinez was injured, we controlled the game quite well in terms of ball possession. So it is quite certain that we need to find ourselves in a position of deep defensive structure. We shouldn't give them a lot of space to try and play in behind or deliver balls into the box or play through us. We certainly need to show good energy in defense, because if we can definitely have a very good defensive structure, then we can definitely counter them when we find space in behind. And the likes of Casemiro, Shaw, Delou, Varane at times, even Kobbie Mainoo, we've seen what he can do going forward. They can definitely find those penetrative passes to the likes of Rashford, Hoyland and Garnacho, whether in behind or in between the lines when they drop off. With Bruno being much closer up to the forward side of the pitch, we see now that we can have a bit of more attacking momentum and keep pressure when we are attacking. And Aston Villa will not be an easy team to play against, especially at Villa Park. Yes, they lost their most previous game against Chelsea, in the FA Cup, but their previous game in the Premier League was against Sheffield United and they won 5-0. So they are capable of scoring goals. And maybe because of their loss to Chelsea, they will come at us, with more energy, because they need to make up for that loss, make up for that bad performance, if I have to put it that way. And what better game to do it than Manchester United at home? So we will need to be on the front foot. We will need to be and show high energy in this game, because Aston Villa will come at us. And Unai Emery will definitely have his players fired up. I want to speak about a few stats. With Aston Villa, we know Ollie Watkins is their main goal scorer. The likes of Leon Bailey, the likes of John McGinn in midfield, Douglas Luiz. These are players that can cause us trouble and showed that they could cause us trouble in the reverse fixture at Old Trafford. So we must be wary of their abilities. And of course, Ollie Watkins would probably try and run in behind Maguire. Therefore, we need to have the likes of Varane, Delo and Shaw, and of course Onana being quite alert when the ball does go in behind and maybe it goes over, Maguire's head. But it is very important to note that they're fourth in the Premier League. And that tells you just how good of a season they've had in the Premier League. And at Villa Park, they've shown that they can take on the big boys and even win them. So it's our biggest game of the season. That's a fact. I don't think there is a bigger game that we've had this season thus far, because we haven't done so good in the Champions League like we expected to, but that's in the past. And we haven't put much focus in the Carabao Cup. And of course, the FA Cup, again, opposition that we've played, it was fairly good wins. But in the Premier League, we need to definitely start having a bit of consistency. As I said in the previous video, win upon win upon win upon win is all we need to have to find ourselves in a fight for the top four. That is the reason why this particular game is very important in terms of that top four race. If we win, easily 5 points behind Aston Villa, and it's game on for that top four finish. But if we lose, we could easily find ourselves almost 11 points behind Aston Villa. And that will definitely leave us in a difficult position to qualify in the top four. And that's self-explanatory. But with the team we have, as I said, Ten Hag only must make one change, and that is bringing in Maguire or Johnny Evans if he feels to do so, mostly because of his use of his left foot. But you can't try and put Shaw at centre back next to Varane, because if Wan-Bissaka is not available, then we definitely won't have a left-sided balance for Shaw and Rashford and that partnership that they have. And Garnacho and Delo have showed a very good partnership on the right-hand side. So we certainly need to keep the core of the system of the team intact. Therefore, only make the one change and bring in Maguire, because I know Evans is a good defender as well, but Maguire's done well of late, and with Varane, they've showed a very good partnership, as I said earlier on in the video. This is a massive game for us, and I do not want to see us lose this game. I feel that we will be up for it, because as I said, Aston Villa will play in a quite exposing way by leaving in so much space in behind for the likes of Rashford to run into. But they might just be wary of that. So in that particular regard, whichever way Aston Villa might set up against us, we will need to adapt very quickly, because if we don't, then Aston Villa will and can potentially score against us. We need to find ourselves in a position of calm, because Aston Villa will keep the intensity as high as they can. Because if they do that, then certain of our players might just crumble under the pressure. But this particular game gives us an opportunity, one, to make a huge step in getting that top four position before the end of the season, and two, can be a massive statement on where we are going for the rest of the season and how we approach the rest of the season. Ten Hag said that he told the players every game is a final, so we definitely must see that type of attitude and mentality and performance for each game, not just for Aston Villa, but it will be our biggest game of the season. I can't wait for it, to be honest. But drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I thank you for those who show the support, and for those that watched the video up until this point. Have a good weekend, Red Devils. Let's go and get the win against Aston Villa. Till we see each other again soon. Bye-bye, Red Devils. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.